Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a way of thinking that honestly goes against pretty much everything we're ever taught about how to be happy and successful. It's all from Mark Manson's huge bestseller, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
So let's start with a puzzle. It's just two words, found on the gravestone of the writer Charles Bukowski. His final message to the world? Don't try. Kind of weird, right? What could that possibly mean?
And that really is the big question. I mean, Bukowski was, by all accounts, a mess. A drunk, a womanizer, and a total failure for most of his life. And yet, he ends up becoming this massive literary success. So how on earth does that happen if your guiding principle is don't try? It just feels totally backwards.
To get it, we really have to dig into how Bukowski actually made it. And spoiler alert, it had nothing to do with trying to be a winner or forcing himself to be someone he wasn't.
Okay, so here's the twist. Bukowski's success didn't come because he was desperate to win. Nope. It came from the exact opposite. He just accepted that he was a failure. He knew it, and he was okay with it. He never tried to be some polished, successful guy. He was just brutally, unflinchingly honest about being a loser. And that's what made people connect with him.
Now, Bukowski's story points to this trap that so many of us get stuck in. Manson has a great name for it, the feedback loop from hell. And it's a huge reason why so many people feel constantly anxious and, well, neurotic these days.
Does this sound familiar? You're nervous about a big meeting at work, and then you start feeling anxious about the fact that you're anxious. Or maybe you feel bad because you snapped at a friend, and then you start feeling guilty for feeling guilty. Our own brains can turn on us, creating this nasty downward spiral. And you know what? Our culture just loves to pour gasoline on this fire. Everywhere you look, social media, ads, movies, you're being told to be more. Happier, healthier, smarter, richer, more popular. Just be perfect. It creates this totally unrealistic standard for what a good life is supposed to be.
The real problem is we're only ever seeing the highlight reel of like the top 0.0001% of people. The billionaires, the rock stars, the geniuses. And when you compare that to our regular everyday lives, it's almost impossible not to feel like you're failing, which just keeps that feedback loop spinning. So how do you get out of this trap? Well, the way out is this really cool paradox. The philosopher Alan Watts called it the backwards law, and it's the key to this whole thing. Okay, get ready, because this might flip your brain a little. The backwards law says that the harder you chase something positive, like happiness, the more it actually becomes a negative experience. Why? Because chasing it just constantly reminds you that you don't have it. But, and here's the magic, accepting a negative experience, that is actually a positive experience. Saying, you know what, I feel anxious right now, and that's okay. That's what stops the spiral.
Chasing something actually creates the opposite feeling. It's just like Alan Watts said, the more you desperately want to be rich, the poorer and more unworthy you feel. The more you want to be happy and loved, the lonelier you become. It's a trippy idea, but it's a powerful truth about how our minds are wired.
So what does this actually look like in real life? It means we have to get really good at choosing what we give a fuck about.
Now, let's be clear. This is not about being indifferent or, being a jerk to everyone. It's a skill. First, it means you have to be comfortable with being different. Second, it means you stop caring about all the small, trivial stuff that doesn't matter. And third, it means you consciously choose what is important to you, and you save all your energy, all your fucks, for that.
And that's really the secret right there. A good life, a mature life, isn't about caring about more things. It's about caring about fewer things, but making sure those things are true, immediate, and important to you. You've only got so much mental energy. Are you going to waste it on some rude comment online? Or are you going to save it for your family, your real passions, and your deepest values?
The values you choose, the way you measure your own success, literally define your life. Let's take two musicians. First, Dave Mustaine. He gets kicked out of Metallica, so he forms his own band, Megadeth, and sells over 25 million albums. A gigantic success, right?
But because his personal metric was be bigger than Metallica, he spent years feeling like a failure. Now, on the other hand, you have Pete Best, the drummer who got fired from the Beatles right before they blew up. You'd think his life would be ruined, but years later he said he was happier because he found a meaningful life with his wife and family. See? The metric you choose is everything.
And this all leads to probably the most powerful idea in the whole book: taking ownership. Not for what happens to you, but for how you react to it.
Okay, this is a game changer. The difference between fault and responsibility. Fault, that's in the past tense. Somebody else can absolutely be at fault for your problems. But responsibility, that's present tense. You are always responsible for how you choose to respond right here, right now. You always get to choose the next step. We all know that classic Spider-Man line, right? With great power comes great responsibility. Well, Manson flips it around, and it's even better. With great responsibility comes great power. The moment you take responsibility for your own problems, you get the power to actually solve them. And here is the ultimate freedom: accepting that you are not special, that your problems aren't unique, that you're just normal. And that's not a bad thing. It's liberating. It frees you from the crushing pressure to be extraordinary, and it lets you just get on with building a life that is actually meaningful to you. So, I'll leave you with the one thought that ties all of this together. It's the simple, unavoidable truth: you are going to die. And facing that isn't supposed to be depressing. It's supposed to make things clear. It's the ultimate filter for what matters. So knowing your time is limited, what are you choosing? What problems are you choosing to solve? What are you choosing to give a fuck about?